What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What Words Are Worth. And today I got hip-hop iconic producers, the Beatminerz. You know them from that hip-hop group, Black Moon. And they got that hip-hop classic, Into the Stage. They've worked with Eminem, Flip Mode, Busta Rhymes, M.O.P., Rashid Chappelle, Pharoah Monch. So many people to name. And we're going to talk to them today about their process, what it's like being producers in the industry. What's it like to write a song with the Beatminerz and for the Beatminerz? Right now, welcome to Beatminerz.
Yo, what's up, man? What's up?
Yo, what's up?
Hello, sir. What's the deal?
Yo, man, this is special for me because I was thinking like I don't see a lot of interviews with y'all. I know y'all said y'all had done a lot last year and stuff, but like y'all be low key but doing a lot of things. So I appreciate y'all doing this for me.
It's all good.
Man.
I'm excited. So, I gave the introduction talking about y'all legacy and like coming up with your own soundscape pretty much for that time. But this show really is about what it's like for y'all as producers when it comes to writing songs. So I wanted to get y'all, your perspective on what it's like for y'all working with artists. Cause I think we know like the history and the legacy I have of everything, but like overall, I don't think people understand the work it takes or the work the time it takes for you to get these records that have been iconic and to keep doing it. So one of my first questions is, what's the difference between a producer and a programmer?
Like a beat maker, right?
Yeah, the programmer is the dude that's like making, playing the instruments, making the beat. The producer is
the producer is the one who paints. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
The producer is the one who kind of paints the canvas, and kind of points the direction where the song should go. Perfect example. I don't know if I should say this. Perfect example. Me and Words is working, like we working on a new song.
Yeah.
Words sent me the rough today.
Yeah.
I said, okay, we got to put, it's dope, but we got to put this here and we got to put this here.
Yeah.
I might have to restructure the whole song, blah, blah, blah. And, just put it all together. And that's a producer. Like,
yeah,
a programmer, a beat maker is a guy who can make beats.
Yeah.
Send you the beat. And then, he leaves it up to you to paint the picture. Me and E don't do that. We sit, we go, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this.
I started seeing that title like years ago when just being in the studio, then start looking through credits. And I saw a producer's name next to program, and I was like, what's this programmer stuff? I thought this was the producer making the beat, but then I learned, that's a whole different job.
I just think that's extra words you could put in the credit sheet of your album. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a programmer, like a lot of producers, I mean, a lot of them, we program on the machine. You know what I'm saying? The kick and the snare and stuff like that. But a producer actually paints the picture.
Yeah. What happened is, us as people of color, when we get our hands on something, we make it ours. And like back in the day, if you look at like the old rock bands, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll come with the songs done already.
Yeah.
And then they'll go to a producer, he'll take it, he might change a couple of things, and then he'll make it sound bigger. It's like Michael Jackson. Jackson did he did Beat It, right?
Okay.
But Quincy Jones and Rod Templeton took it to the next level.
Right.
Saying like if you look around, you'll hear the demo of Beat It. That's the one Michael Jackson created. Then you hear the album version. That's when Quincy and Rod Templeton touched it.
And I think that's been like a big confusion like throughout the years. Like you got the guys that make beats, dope beat makers. There's a lot of those on Instagram. There's a lot,
right.
Lot of dope beat makers on Instagram. But then when it's time to like go to the studio or they have an artist on there, they're not really able to guide what the record should sound like after that rhyme is put on there, after that person sings on there. Right. So when y'all first started, were y'all always like helping with the production side of it, or y'all first was like started on a program aspect and then earned the respect to do that?
I mean, we always knew what the producer title was. So it counts who we worked with too. Like a lot of people we gave the freedom because we kind of trusted them. Like, but if I saw something or E saw something that we didn't like, we would say something. And sometimes we would be right, sometimes we would be wrong. How many MCs, right?
Okay.
Buck did that in one take.
All right.
Vocals that you heard on the record, he did that in one take. I said, think you should do your vocals over. He said, yo, Walt, trust me, this is the way I want to keep it. I trusted his judgment.
Yeah.
Boom, we got a classic record.
Yeah.
See, what I love about that story, which maybe because I do know you and know y'all, but like there are some producers that are able to just go like, I guess gauge what battle to win right there, right? Because it's not, you don't want to get into an argument over certain things, but I think it also takes you and the artist to have a good relationship to kind of say, all right, I'll change it. I'll redo it. I try to live on the fact of like, there's the delete button. Right. So I'll redo it. If you tell me, yo, you should redo it, I'll redo it as many times. And then as long as we got that original, we could always go back with it. So as y'all are making beats and y'all are starting to make songs, what's the first thing y'all care about? Is it the drums first or the sample first? Like, what's the first thing you like to work with? Because I know there's a lot of people that love drums and they like, I start there. What do y'all start with? Either or. Evil, which one you start with?
Sample. Sample is like the nucleus of the beat. Like once you hear that sample, you know what I'm saying, then you'll think of what drums to add, kick, the kick snare, and also like what other instruments like bass, but the sample was always like the beginning for me. Like starting from the drums is bananas. Like every time I've tried to do that, the beat came out sounding berserk.
Yeah. Well, what about you?
See with E like how E does it. It's sample first, and I'm the same way. But you know how like yourself and other MCs got so much rhymes in your head that y'all could just freestyle and rhymes just come off the dome or whatever. When I hear the sample or when I hear a record that we're gonna chop or the idea, a whole bunch of drums just go through my head, and I just go, I could take these drums and I could do this and I could do that and blah 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 blah. Like I'll have my mind set on one particular set of drums to put on there, and I would like lay the sample out. Yeah. Right, chop it, but don't put it in program mode until I get the right drums that I want to put on there. Lay the drums down first, then put the sample on top.
Do you like the beats nowadays? There's a lot of beats that I think some producers are now taking drums out and just going straight loop. Do you have a preference or have you kind of like said, all right, I got some loops that I like they sound good without drums. So are you kind of messing with both of those worlds now? Either one of you guys?
The crazy thing about it is that style started, like RZA was doing that back in the day, but he wasn't really going hard with it. But when Rock Marcy kind of started that. And the only reason why Rock Marciano did that is because he wanted to make his own beats. He was tired of getting beats from producers. He wanted to make his own joints. And that's what he did. He just said, yo, I want to loop off of this. I want to rhyme off of this. And he looped it up and went with it. But then a lot of people started following that. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, that's when it became too much. I personally think it's outside of the Rock Marciano thing. I think it's a lazy way of doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it's not, to me, anybody could just loop up something and then just rhyme on it. Rock Marcy did it for a reason. He did it because he wanted to do his own thing. But what he did was he also created his own style. But then everybody started running with it, and then I was just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's lazy. I think it's lazy. And to me, it just takes away from the song.
What about you, E?
I can't, like, when I hear that loop, I'm always gonna want to add something to it. Like, I just can't do it. Like, I feel like I'm being lazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really feel like I'm being lazy if I just give you a loop and go, yo, that's it.
Yo, when we first did I Got You Open remix, there was no kicks and no snares first. Then we listened to it and we was like, we got to put a kick and snare under this. This sounded real light. It didn't sound good. Excuse me. And we went back into D&D and we had to put the kick and the snare. But
I was listening to it today. I listened to Got You Open today. Just like a groove. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the Barry White one, the remix.
Basically,
that one.
That record.
Then the other one, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, everything on that I Got You Open remix is from the Barry White. Even the open kick and snare. The only thing that's not from the Barry White is the hi-hat. Right. Other than that, everything is from the Barry White record.
We had to put the kick just to make the foundation more sturdy.
Yeah.
It's funny y'all mentioned that too, like the remix aspect, because I actually had that as a question in here later on. But now that we're already there, do y'all like remixing your own records or like hearing somebody else do a remix? Because to be honest, I first started buying a lot of y'all records with the remix. I got the Bucktown. I was buying those remixes. I heard the album ones, but it almost seemed like y'all were focused on, well, if we're gonna do a remix, it got to be better than the original. That's how I felt hearing the remix. We go buy them. So going into that remix bag of your own records, like, are y'all focused on like topping the original?
Go ahead, E.
Yeah, of course. Like, you remix a record to make it better.
Right.
So, definitely you're trying to make something better than the original. Like, I Got You Open remix, Walt did the original.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the original, I love it because it's that funk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that original record is so crazy, yeah. And it's like, to top that, the only way to top that is to go opposite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the remix is more bright and, Buck is, instead of doing the rhymes, he's just doing a sing-song flow. But yeah, like, and as of, I think you said other people remixing our stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why? Me and Walt.
Yo, I'm gonna be real. Who got the props? Yeah. Which one of them was it? Who got the props that Michael Weiss got somebody to remix it?
Yeah, Michael Weiss and the engineer that was engineering the session.
Yeah,
they did a remix, and I hated
that remix. Was awful.
Yo, that remix made the record sound like a clown record.
Right,
and that's the one with
have it. Yeah, I have the remix.
Yeah, it's on the record. Like, it's.
Oh,
like,
okay.
They added a horn to it, like a.
Right, and then what killed me? What killed it was Red Alert. That's the version. Red Alert.
Yeah, Red Alert always plays.
And I was like,
today
why is he playing that? Like,
back in the day, that was the version he was playing. Like, today, he plays the regular version. Yo,
I didn't hear the remix, so like I didn't pay attention to the remix because I knew which remixes I wanted and it was what y'all did. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yo, that remix was trash.
So listen, you know what we did after that? So when we saw what Michael Weiss was doing, we stopped giving him acapellas of all the mixes. Like, we was like, we're not giving. I mean, we knew it was you know, he paid for the session, so he could get whatever he wants. But we never gave it. Like, if he wanted an acapella, he would have to pay for another session to go get the acapella.
Yeah.
But when we was handing in our tapes and our passes and all that, we never gave him an acapella mix because he went and when he was doing that, we were like, yeah, we're not doing this no more. Because I think he put an acapella of how many MCs?
Yeah, on the second record, the second.
But we didn't trust it because we knew he was gonna do a remix or get somebody else to do a remix. So after a while, we was like, "Yo, no more acapellas for Michael White. No more."
Yeah, so after that.
What made y'all decide to do like a full like new kind of like a new song remix as opposed to like, you know, you got the remixes when we're just gonna add a couple other artists on here? What was that? Did y'all have to go through that discussion? Like, yo, we could add this person onto the same beat.
That was like a Buckshot decision.
Okay.
I Got You Open. Buckshot wanted to make a totally. Buckshot said he wanted to rhyme off the song that Big Daddy Kane and Little Daddy Shane was right. He didn't know like it was Barry White. He just knew, yo, I want to rhyme off that song that Kane and Shane rhymed on. For they joint. And I was like, okay. I said, I think I remember, I said the Barry White joint. But I wasn't really wanting to do that because I was making, like, my mentality, I'm not speaking for E, but my mentality was, I was trying to keep up with the Q-Tips, the Large Professors, the Pete Rock, and the DJ Premiers. I was trying to keep up with them. So we were all trying to outdo each other with the illest record that you could find, like, oh, I got this ill sample and this ill beat. So that was always been my mentality. To this day, that's still my mentality. Like, I'm trying to find something that any of the other producers don't have. So I was trying to go to the left. And Buck, you know, any MC that I worked with, a majority of them, they're not on that wavelength. They don't care. Just give me a dope beat. They don't care like if it's the obscure joint. Right. You know what I'm saying? They want something to rhyme to. So Buck and Tech and Steel, they wasn't thinking about that. So they never really got that. They was like, yo, I don't care. I just want to rhyme off of this. And we were like, nah. But then E was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So E looped it up for him, and he liked it. We went in, we recorded it, came back in, added a little touch to it, like the kick and the snare and the whole nine, and then it just happened from there.
I'll be honest. Once I heard It Ain't Hard to Tell, I was like, this dude looped up Michael Jackson, B.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Right. But it's hard to tell. Not only did he loop on Michael Jackson, but you got the Stanley Clarke underneath it. So I'm hearing the Stanley Clarke, like, yo, that's the ill drum, Stanley Clarke joint. You know what I'm saying? And he was still keeping it like obscure. Yeah. Human Nature was in your face, but the Stanley Clarke at that time was from the left. Yeah. So we were like, oh, that's crazy.
Pete, I mean, not Pete, I'm sorry. Large Professor.
Yeah.
When he did that, I was like, yo, it's just about making it funky.
Right.
It could be something that everybody knows, but you gotta have that make it funky factor with it.
Yeah, even It Ain't Hard to Tell remix was crazy. I remember.
Oh yeah, that remix was crazy.
I remember when that came out, going to the clubs and it had the Nas sample from Biz Markie saying, and he not even saying Nas, but the way it was cut up.
But check this out though. Check this out. That remix was for us. That wasn't for the masses. That was for the underground and for the street dude. Like the Ain't Hard to Tell remix. That was for us. The ones who listened to Bobito and Stretch. That was for us. The original, that was for we need to put this out there to bring Nas out and to put Nas in everybody's face, which is cool. But that remix, that was remix. Right. That was our remix.
It's crazy to this day. So when you're making a beat, right? How do you decide, I'm going to scrap this beat or I'm going to just revisit it later? I'm sure y'all probably got I know y'all got like mad beats that never came out that y'all. That's the thing I don't like about producers when you go visit them, because they'll be like, yeah, I got this right here. I ain't really feeling it, and it be fire. And then once they hear something on it, then you get to see the vision. So, what's that like for y'all to decide? What's the defining factor? Like, this one is trash, delete, and this one I'm gonna keep it for later. So yeah, Walt, hit me with that. What you think?
All right. It's funny that you asked that, because the beat that we're working on, I did that beat like 3 times. And I did it on different machines. So when I got the machine that I got now, I said, I want to go back to that old beat, and I did the beat over. But when I had the 3000, I did it on the 3000. And then back in the days, I did it like on a 900 and an SP or something like that. Now that when I got the X, I said, let me do that old joint over again, and I did it over. But
so you saying, Walt, the equipment made the beat better, like sound wise, or something like this? Elements from using like different equipment that made you say, okay, this one is not. It's not helping this sample loop I'm doing, but this machine makes it better because of whatever it has. Because maybe people don't know that, like producers might not know.
Right. Well, the X that I'm working on now, the X, you could do more things on the X than you could do on the 3000. You could do on the SP. Like every time a piece of equipment comes out or a computer program comes out, it gives you more room to do things. So when we got it, and I was like, you know what? I think I could do more on this, and I did more with the sample and with the chops that I did, and I was like, okay, now, and we got it to a place where I wanted it to be at. But
that's dope though, Walt. Because to be honest with you, I'm rapping, so like I don't really produce from that perspective, making a beat. But I would never know that same thing you trying to make on this MPC. Try making it on this one, and it could make it sound like that. I wouldn't have no idea like that. So I think a lot of producers right now probably like, I'm gonna try this same thing with this machine. I think you just gave a lot of people some advice on not like, I'm using this machine with this, and it's not working. Forget it. You know what I'm saying? But
it worked with the other machines, but with this one, it just gave it more of a, like, I have more room to do certain things. And I was like, ooh, wait, I could do this, I could do that, blah, blah, blah. And then it felt better to me. But to go back earlier to your question, you know what I do? I'll start a beat and I'll make a beat, right? And I'll lay the foundation on the beat, right? Yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll save it, come back, turn my machine off, or I'll either turn my machine off or walk away from my machine for like maybe an hour. Usually I'm watching like a Yankee game or the
bodega.
What? What'd you say?
He said he go to the bodega. He go to the bodega.
Right.
Get a chopped cheese, and all that.
Yeah. You gotta take a walk. Take a walk.
Right. You take a walk and you clear your ear. And then when you come back, turn your machine on. If that beat does not hit you the same way, like if it sounds different, you gotta scrap it. If it hits you the same way that you did when you was doing it, then it's a go. If you listen to the beat and it sounds different and it doesn't pop off, turn your machine off. I've turned this machine off 1,000,000 times already.
Right. How about you, Evil? Is it the same kind of thing, like you leave and come back, or you just be like, or being that y'all brothers, maybe it's, this beat is terrible, and then it's like, you bugging. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, like, it's always been like that with us.
Always
been,
yeah.
How does that work for you, Evil? Like, do you keep them? You got a lot of beats laying around that you just like, later?
Like what I have is I have a folder on my desktop called Unfinished Business.
Okay, dope.
And it's a whole bunch of beats that I made that either I got stuck or I didn't feel it at first. Then when I have, how you have writer's block, we have beat block.
Okay.
When I go through beat block, the first thing I do is open up that on my desktop and see what I did to different beats, and then I start working from there. And that always puts me back into the groove.
Right.
So
I got beats. Like I did beats. I got beats that I did like 7 years ago that I'm finishing today.
Wow. Okay.
You know.
And how long does it typically does it take for you to make a beat? Like you know, I asked you the same thing, Walt, but you know, Evil, like how long? Like, is it a day? Is it a week? And when you said,
I could make a beat in 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Then at the same time, sometimes it'll take me 2 months, 3 months, maybe a year to go back to something. Like even more than that. Like I got mad stuff that I'm going back to now. Like, yo, I made this. This is hot. Let me add this little bit of this to it, and now it's crazy.
Right.
Every producer is different, right? I remember one time I heard Swiss Beats say, yo, I make like 10 beats a day. And I tried that, and I was like, yo, I can't do it. But then I listened to his beats, and I said, I know why he does that, or why he says that. He just lays down the foundation, the sound, the loop or whatever, the beat, and then he moves on. Then he does this, and he moves on. When I'm making a beat, I'll put the foundation, then I'm sprinkling with those different sounds, cymbals, percussion, this and that, and it's different. So I'm gonna be real, I only could do one beat a day, maybe two. I can make 10, 20 beats a day. Nah, I mean, like, are they 20 hot beats? You know what I'm saying? You can make 20 beats, but are they 20 hot beats?
Yeah, I think same thing with me writing. Like, for me, I've learned a lot of these I guess thoughts of the time it takes all deals with incentives. If I'm getting paid for it and they gotta be due by tomorrow, I can get it done. You know, so I sometimes think that can be the defining factor. If you're getting paid for it, of course, that could push you across the finish line. But I would prefer to take the time I can, as much as I can, to write the rhyme. And I'm sure it helps when you're making the beat. And then once you got the beat done, what's the way that you decide who gets that beat? Do y'all have I know y'all know mad people. So do you say, yo, this beat sound like it's this person, I'm gonna give him for this? Or is it the project you're working on specifically says, okay, this project is about this, so we need to put this aside for that person? How do y'all decide who's getting these beats?
It's like how you just mentioned it. Like sometimes it's like, yo, I hear such and such on it. Or it's like, okay, such and such is working on their project.
Yeah.
Some beats for them.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of both.
Okay. So then if that person gets the beat, now that you've given them that beat, is there like a timetable that they need to get it done? Because we were talking about like time. Do you give the artist a certain timetable to get the songs done as well?
Well, when I'm sending you a beat tape, right?
Yep.
I verbally don't give you a timetable. See, a lot of MCs and a lot of artists, they feel like the beat is only for them. That is not true, people. The beat is not only for you. It's
let that be known. Let that be known, man. Right. Because let that be known, because I'm one of those artists. I'll be honest. I'll be like, yo, if you sell it, sell it. Like, because I know that I don't like holding a beat hostage.
Right. And
I try to communicate where I'm at in writing the rhyme. So anybody out there that writes, I would suggest, yo, I'm almost done. Right. I'm near completing. Yeah, I might be, because producers need to know that. And then when they sell that beat on you, you be mad. But dude's got the business. Other people got the beat. So elaborate on that. Let them know.
Yo, I could tell you horror stories about that. But us in Words, we've been working for over 20 years now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been working, and we never had that problem. A lot of MCs, they don't communicate. What they do is they think the beat is only for them. No, like producers, we gotta hustle. And so our hustle is we hustle beats. So when we give you the beat, like, you have a grace period I feel this is how I feel. I feel it doesn't take a long time for you to say yay or no to a beat. Even if you're interested. Just say, yo, I like that. Let me hold that for me or whatever. A lot of these dudes, you don't hear from them, right? You don't hear from them. So what they do is they sit on the beat and then they want to have conversations with you. Like when you call up to be like, yo, what's going on with the beat? Yeah, they want to have conversations about your mom.
Yo, son.
Yo, son. What about that Nick game last night? Yo. Yo,
what's up with that beat? Yo, did you taste these Pringles?
Yeah, like they'll dance around the whole topic. So what I do is I just go ahead and move on to the next customer. Perfect example. Type Rod Digger. Right? Okay, I made that beat for Busta Rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I gave the beat to Busta. Busta was going out on tour. He was going on the Smoking Grooves tour, right? So I gave it to him the night before he went out on the Smoking Grooves tour, right?
Yep.
I didn't hear nothing from Busta, right? So I waited. I said, okay, I'm not hearing it. So then what I did was I took the beat and I gave it to De La Soul.
Okay, that's crazy.
Right. Pops heard the beat. Pops loved it. But then he said, we got a beat that sounds just like it. I was like, okay. I took the beat back.
All right.
God rest the dead. Gave it to Big Pun.
Wow, that would have been crazy.
We didn't hear nothing from Big Pun. Took the beat back. Gave it to Havoc and Prodigy. Havoc, I didn't hear nothing from Havoc. Then we gave it to Rod Digger, and Rod Digger took a minute. Then she said, yo, I'm going to rhyme off this. I was like, okay. We go down to Busta's studio, and he had a studio on Wall Street. We go down to Busta's studio and record the beat in Busta's studio, right? The record comes out. The record does what it does. Everybody loves it. Busta goes, yo, that beat was crazy, son. If you would have made that beat for me, I would have bodied it. Come on, son, really?
Yeah, you had the beat, right? Yeah.
You had the beat first.
Yeah.
So, yo, the beat shopping game and just making beats for people.
Yeah.
I'm so thick-skinned with it right now. Like, I'm just, like I said, I give you a great spirit, but I never tell you what the great spirit is. I could take hints real, like, cool, like, yo, there's beats we gave Nas. Like, Nas loved it, and then I haven't heard from Nas since about those beats.
Yeah.
Those songs. So you know.
I think communication, man. I've learned that.
Right.
Man. Don't hold those beats hostage, y'all. Just communicate. Let them know what's going on. So
exactly.
So once you get these beats to everybody, right? Then the next thing is, do you want the artist to show up with the song done or writing in the studio? What do y'all like?
I prefer you have the lyrics done, but if you have to write in the studio, it is what it is.
Okay.
Like I prefer the lyrics to be done though, because that way, like you coming in with the lyrics done shows me, yo, you took time to do this. And writing in the studio, the pressure of the studio time is bananas.
Man, we could fine tune it in the studio. If you do the lyrics like on your own time and stuff like that, you bring it to the studio. We could fine tune, or we could go over whatever we need to go over, and we can change whatever we need to change in the studio.
Yeah, I always like. I don't like writing in the studio unless I have to, and there's been certain cases in which you might just pop up at a studio session and everybody there. You're like, oh, they working on this joint.
Right.
Let me write my verse because I want to be on this song, so I have to write it now. Right. But I know the quality control of being at home is gonna make the rhyme better because I have that time to put into it. But if I have to write it there, around everybody, I'll write it on the spot. So, to me, when I come, if I know I'm gonna work with y'all, I'll come back. I don't like wasting nobody else's time in the studio too. I kind of respect everybody else's time too, because I know you might want to work on another beat, and some producers don't have that extra room to go work on beats and come back. Right. So I just try to respect the person's time with writing. You
was one of the first. Matter of fact, might have been the first one to like get the setup in the crib and do your vocals in your crib. You might have been the first one, because I don't think anyone else was doing it before you.
I mean, I saw a couple other people having it set up like that, but like, this is like I've never recorded nothing at home, to be real, pretty much. Right.
Right.
But for me, it was more so the traveling. You know, we live in New York. When we live in New York, you got to travel to the studio. Then you got dudes that don't show up on time. Then you got dudes that never show up. Now, y'all know how that is. As a producer, you waiting for the rapper to come through. Rapper never come through, and vice versa. Even as a rapper, you waiting for another rapper to come through, never show up. So it just got to that point of just like, y'all could just lay my joint here and then send it over to you and call it a day. And then I kind of looked at also, what am I spending money on? I want to do this craft. Let me just get this studio set up instead of like wasting time and money. But yeah, I always wanted to make sure. I remember, I think when me and Emperor there when me and Emperor wrote together a little bit there at one point.
Y'all did. Y'all wrote in the kitchen.
Yeah, we wrote some of that in the kitchen. And then we went home and then did the second verse.
Right.
But I would prefer that going home, because when you go home, it comes back tighter. So I got a question, because y'all are able to produce music for anybody. I think sometimes people may think y'all just doing hip hop stuff, but like y'all do everything. Y'all can do anything, you know, whatever the genre is. If you give them a call, they're gonna do it. So like, how do you like figure out how to like balance that integrity? Because sometimes they'll be like, yeah, I can't believe they did the joint for Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm talking about.
I wish that could happen.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like,
right.
For me, I would be hyped. Like, yo, the Taylor Swift joint, the remix with Taylor Swift, and y'all did the joint. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all did the Conway joint too, or you know, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like,
how can you do Taylor Swift and then switch over to Conway?
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Having that duality of y'all being able to do both.
Right.
Y'all can do both. So,
like, you have your certain touch.
Right.
Yeah. You have your certain style and touch to things. So, like, if we did a Taylor Swift record, it would be like Taylor Swift meets the Beatminerz.
Fire.
You know, like, but you also got to understand who Taylor Swift is.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that we do is, if we're working with an artist, we study what's out there with them. You know, like whatever they're doing, so that we can make sure that everything connects right. You know, Taylor Swift ain't singing the Bucktown. Right. So, you know,
so do y'all, I guess, how do you get into that mode? Do y'all go listen to her albums and songs? Because, you know, there's some people that are producers and even rappers or whatever, they'll be like, nah, I don't want to hear no Taylor, because I want to make sure I'm making my stuff. Or do y'all study the artist you're making these songs for?
You have to.
You gotta study them. Yeah, you have to.
Because you gotta know who you're working with.
Right.
You know, like, if I didn't study it, that's me coming to school unprepared.
Right.
You know, we about to take the test. I ain't study shit. So, sorry. That was.
Nah, you can curse. You can curse on it.
You know, I ain't study anything. So, you know, like, yo, you gotta definitely check the artist that you're working with.
Yeah, because there's people that'll be like, I don't even want to hear that, because I'm, you know, but I feel the same way. Like, if I'm gonna write something for somebody, or if I write cartoon stuff or whatever, I kind of like, let me go pay attention to this vibe, so I can kind of alter my way around that. So the other thing, when you're going to make these beats for people or other people, do y'all still go digging for records and everything like that, or do y'all download, or, you know, vinyl? Where we at with that now? Because, you know, there's some sticklers. I know the purists. You know, they catch you with a digital download or something, and be like, "Yo, what's going on?" Like,
we going record shopping tomorrow morning.
Yep. Oh, okay, dope.
We still.
Where y'all shop at? Y'all got like specific spots y'all like to go?
Yeah, we got like different spots. But first of all, whenever we travel out of New York, let's understand, like, we land in your city. Once we go to the hotel, we looking on the app. Where's the nearest record store? And we go chill. We go buy records and stuff like that. So
Jay Rawls does that too. Every time we go out of town somewhere, Jay Rawls, he's like, yo, I land at such and such, but I'm going digging. So I'm y'all at the hotel.
Yo, you know why you have to? You got to take advantage of of you traveling, because when you sit in your same city, eventually the spots that you go to, it's gonna be dried out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta hit and then the prices might be different too. Like you go to country. Yo, we was beach shopping in Omaha, Nebraska last summer.
Yeah.
Around this time last year, we was in Omaha, Nebraska buying records.
Finding stuff too.
Finding ill stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
finding crazy stuff. So that beach shopping, it will never die. We're always trying to do that.
Do y'all still when you DJ, because I know y'all got the radio show and then y'all go DJ parties and everything.
Right.
Are y'all carrying 45s or single still? Y'all straight digital? Because I remember one time doing a show, I forgot where it was, maybe Milwaukee, and seeing 30 crates come off for Kid Capri. It was Akron, Ohio.
Yeah, Kid Capri don't do that no more.
I remember that. And I remember, Evil, I remember him saying, yo, you know, my crates, it's a show when we show up. Like, it's a big show. It's a big deal. So I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, I'm watching where it's going. And I was like, man, can he really hold on to this aspect of it?
Kid Capri don't do it no more.
I was wondering if he could hold on to that, how long he could hold on to that aspect of it, you know?
Kid Capri, he's older than me, so he definitely was like, nah, we're not doing this no more.
Yeah.
Okay.
He eventually gave in.
Plus, like, it's like last night I just did a party where I was playing all 45s. Like,
okay.
We still do vinyl. Yeah. We did the birthday party on Friday.
On last Friday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Thank you.
The Friday we had just did a 45 party. So we still do the 45 thing. We do digital too. You know what I'm saying? But we do the 45s, and we'll definitely, it's going to be very rare you see us pull out the crates. Like,
oh yeah, no, I'm not. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
unless like, I don't know, but nah, it's too, like, carrying the 45s are cool because they're light.
Yeah.
Like last night, I had 3 cases with me, and I'm able to take those 3 cases in one trip. I was DJing on a rooftop.
Right.
Take them up the elevator and walk over to the set and put them down. You know, and I'm like, yo, those 12-inch records, nah, that's not happening. Like, one case weighs more than those 3 cases of 45s. And when I gotta do a setup, when we walk through vinyl on Twitch, I gotta set up the room. And the cases we put the records on top of are regular record cases with records in them. And I hate moving those. So that tells you right there how me moving records back in the days, yeah, you had to. Now that I don't have to, I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm keeping it real. You know, I'm still rocking on turntables, you know.
So
I'm not trying to kill myself.
Nah, I mean, I saw where it was going, and I was just like, eventually you gotta stop. You gotta stop carrying.
Yeah.
I just knew it was going there. So for people, if people had it, or if you had to define your sound, because when y'all came out, the sound, I never heard that sound. Y'all pretty much set up the soundscape for that 90s era at that time for like some years. People, when they heard Boot Camp Clik, they heard, you know, Buckshot, Smith & Wesson. Anytime they heard anybody from that whole era, they knew from that group and camp the sound. It was a specific sound. So how do y'all define a Beatminerz sound? If you had to tell somebody what it is.
I'll just tell them, yo, it's drums, hard drums, and ill bass lines.
That Brooklyn sound.
You know, like hand folded music. And when I say handfold, you know, B-boy stands handfold, you know. Like, it's not, you know, it's not tender tulips music. It's not, you know, it's not Sade hug music. Nah. It's aggressive music. You know, it's street music. And that's what we bring. You know what I'm saying? That grittiness. You know, like, I'm always going to have the ill bass and the ill drums and everything I do. I make a slow jam, it's gonna still have that sound.
Man, when I used to hear the songs, for me to define when I used to hear it, it was always like a crazy ill sample, but you always waited you did wait for that drum to drop to give you that, but we going with this. It was always like you always add the beats, and when it starts, but y'all music always takes somebody on a journey of how their head's gonna nod.
Right.
That's what it was. Like I'll hear a song from you, and one song it's like that, or it could be, the remix, and it's like, but it's always been like hearing y'all make joints. It's like a journey, but it's always like hardcore at the same time. So that's how I define it. So at what point do y'all finish? Like, the song is finished, you're ready to go to mixing and mastering. So when do you know that? Y'all are like pros of the pros. So when do you know, like, yo, let's get it?
It's like cooking a meal.
Yeah.
Like when you get the meal right where it's at, know when to stop. You be like, okay, I'm not gonna add no more. I got it right where. And that's how I feel about the song. Like whenever and usually I work after the vocals are on. So once I hear all that, I go, okay, I need a little bit more here, I need a little more there. Yeah. But when it's right, you be like, okay, boom, it's done, leave it alone. Yeah.
Is it the vocals, and you've added your music to it, and you're saying, all right, I got the elements of what I need as a song, but to be done, I might have to get this flute from my band to come play live. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it that? Or I guess this is a good question for you. How long do y'all listen to it before you say it's done? Because that's a big thing for producers. And I know y'all listen to it. When do you say, I've driven with it, I've played it upstairs, I played it in these speakers? Where do y'all play the record? And that's some questions I think people want to know. Where do y'all play the song at sonically, and how do y'all know it's done like that?
You know what's crazy? The studio that we work out of now, it's like a few blocks away from the crib. So when we have a mixing session, right? And we work with Jake Palumbo. So when Jake is finished a mix, right? I'll go, okay. While he's setting up the other mix for the next song, I'm walking back to my crib. And he sends me the mix in my email. I walk in the crib, I pull the mix up, and I listen to it, and I go, okay, turn the bass down here, give me more smack on the snare, blah, 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 different stuff. And then I walk back to the studio. When I walk back to the studio, he has it to exactly where I want it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Greg Palumbo. I follow him on Instagram too.
Yeah. Like that's like with myself. I like these headphones. I love AI headphones.
Okay.
And these are their studio model, and they're so flat. And I could listen and hear, and I'm good. But I also got to come home the same way, Walt. Like I'll come home, but I won't do it during the session. When the day is over, I'll sit here and listen.
But you gotta listen to it the next day. If you go through like how E does it, you gotta listen to it the next day. You can't listen to it the day of, because your ear is still got that in it.
Yeah.
The next day when your ears are fresh, turn it on, and then you're gonna hear it. If it smacks the way it's supposed to, then you're good.
Yeah.
We also learn from each engineer that we work with. So our first engineer, our first main engineer was Kieran. That's where we did all the D&D stuff. When he used to mix our records, he would mix in a small speaker. And I was like, why would you mix in that small speaker? Yo, if you can hear the vocals in that speaker like over the beat, you're in the right space.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we learned that from him. You know what I'm saying? And every other producer, every other engineer that we work with, like we only had like 3 main engineers. So there's Kieran, and then there's Brian Herman that we worked over at SMT with.
Yeah.
And then there's Jake Palumbo, and we learned from each one of those engineers like how to attack different mixes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I always wondered, you know, how big like A and B in. I always liked when people did that. Like you have 2 mixes and you say you could play them A and B and see which one sounds better.
Right.
You got 2 versions you take home. Yo, let me get a version with vocals up a little bit. Let me get a version with this, you know, snare down. Because sometimes you've been in the studio so long, it's deceiving.
Right.
Do y'all remember being in Sony studios? I tell people this story. I don't know if they remember, but Sony studio used to have like a fake car setup.
Yeah, the bass room. I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
it used to be like a fake car, and you could go in there.
Right. I remember that.
Close the door and play the CD like you just was in, like you're in a car. Then slide the door open and walk right back down to the Sony room.
Right. I remember that.
Yo, I tell people, that used to be the dopest because you're already in the studio. You want to hear how it sound like in the car. You walk down and they had a fake car simulated on the right there. You walk up. I thought that was ill. I always thought
that was the illest room right there.
Yeah, I always thought that was dope, man. Like just having that fake car set up because everybody knows. Usually, a lot of times you get the joint, you go to the car. So they was like, yo, let's just build a car down here. And that way people could play the joint. Yeah. So I appreciate having y'all, man. I got one last question, which I do this top 5 thing, but if you don't got 5, it's fine. What are like, I guess, pieces of equipment that y'all would recommend for a producer that's been doing it for a minute, or since you were younger, or something old that you still use? Like top 5 or top whatever, as many you can come up with your favorite pieces of equipment to have in the studio to work with. Evo, you can set it off if you got it.
Yeah. Well, mine is an Akai either Renaissance or Akai Studio sampler.
Okay.
The studio is basically the travel version, but not the new studio travel version. I'm talking about the smaller one with the screen. Because the new one is just like a strip and that's it. It's just pads. Laptop, a dope laptop. Usually on the laptop, I'm using Ableton. You know what I'm saying? Ableton has become my go-to. I would say pieces of equipment. Headphones, a nice set of headphones. Because you're not always going to be in an environment where you can listen on speakers. Keyboard-wise, I always use these MPK, rolling MPKs. I got like a bunch of different ones that I take with me. And what else? I think that's it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. Like that's what I carry.
Okay.
I'm probably forgetting something, but what is it? Like equipment that I have to carry with me, or equipment that I have to have in the studio?
Just anything you like. If these essential things to make music, you make beats.
Turntable. I'll say turntable and mixer together. You know what I'm saying? Because of course I sample off of records.
All right.
So I'm coming with a stack of records.
All right, Walt, what you got?
Basically
a banjo,
harmonica, some spools. No, basically it's just my order of equipment, but in reverse. MPC-X #1.
Yeah.
Okay.
MPC-1 #2. MPC 3000. SP12, 900, and honorable mention keyboard wise Juno 106.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I appreciate y'all giving me this time, man, and I'm glad that we could do this. And people, I'm sure mad producers are gonna be like, "Oh snap! I didn't know you could use that," or "I didn't know that how to do that." And there's gonna be a lot of stuff. They're gonna be like agreeing with how y'all handle things. They're gonna be like, "Word! I hate when people do that too." You know what I'm saying? But that's why I want to have these discussions, because they don't know that how y'all rocking with stuff like that, and they dealing with the same thing. A lot of people.
But let me ask you a question, right? Am I wrong? But how long does it take you to figure out, I like that beat, I might want to fuck with this beat? Like, how long does it take you to figure that out? As an MC, you are a 30-year a veteran. You know what I'm saying? MC. Like, how long does it take for you to go, I want to rock on that beat?
Yeah, I think for me, I know pretty much immediately, but you know what I think can happen? I know it happens to me. Sometimes I take too many beats. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay, and that's cool.
Yeah, cool. Like as artists and rappers, if you're not so prolific, like you're writing like every time you get the beat and it's done in a day or so like that, I think you gotta chill on like and just say, I got these three or four, I gotta go through this here. So like for instance, with the song we're doing now, when I got it some weeks ago. I started writing immediately, but then I was still working at school. But I would text you at least, verse almost done.
Communication,
communication, and then I had other things I had to write to too. So I actually had like, I'll slate like, okay, I got these 4 I'm focusing on. I'm gonna focus on these, and then I'm not moving on to the other 4 until these are done. But the communication with the producer allows me the flexibility for the beats.
Yo, Buckshot is the king of sitting on beats. Buckshot, if you give Buckshot a beat in 2020, in 2000, he would hit you up in 2016, 2017, say, okay, I want to use this beat. You'd be like, what? I gave you that beat 16 years ago.
He's the king of that.
That's a lot of our fault, man. That's a lot of artists. Like, we do that because we take too many beats sometimes, and that's just what it is. So I learned that years ago to not do that and just be like honest, like, yo, it's gonna take me a week or two. I got something I gotta write right now, and I'm about to go out of town for a week. And I text him, yo, I'm out of town this week, so I won't be able to write it. Also another thing, Walt, for me, I kind of changed my schedule that I don't record but only on weekends, because during the weekdays I got, I'm at the school teaching and other stuff I let people know that, it'll be done on the weekend. So don't expect nothing Monday through Friday unless it's an emergency. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, communication, man. All y'all out there, communicate with your producers so they know, man. Don't hold those beats hostage, So
really, that's what it is. You just got to communicate, man.
Communicate, man. Shout out the new album. The new single is out right now. It's crazy. And let them know what you got going on, what's coming up next, and websites, all that good other stuff.
The new album is coming out June 21st. It's called Stifled Creativity. Me and Evil D, them Dugard boys, that's us. And we got like a slew of MCs, Karis One, Rusty Jukes, Mickey Fats, we got a Black Moon song on there. We got Smith & Wesson on there with a remix for Karis One, and we got Steel, by a solo song from Steel and Fame from MOP. We got Keith Murray. We got
AZ.
We got 2 songs from Razzcast.
Yeah, Razzcast.
It's at Pharaoh.
We got Pharaoh. We got De La. We got Rashid Chappelle. We got Camp Low.
That single's crazy.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We got some things. We got Bishop Lamont on there. So, we trying to come with it, man. Like, we trying to, it took a long time to make this album. So we finally put it out, and I'm kind of happy about that.
And where can we? What's your Instagram and stuff that people could that is y'all controlling it? Everybody, when you hit it, you see it. Because some people be like thinking that y'all might not control Instagram. What's Instagram when people want to book y'all?
Both of our Instagrams is controlled by both. Mine is controlled by me, and he controls his. So I'm at Beatminerz, and that's like Twitter, and if it's still called Twitter, I think it's called X now.
Twitter, X, all that.
Threads and Instagram. It's me at Beatminerz, and Evil is at DJ Evil D on X, Threads, and Instagram.
Yeah. So if y'all want to get in touch with them, y'all need to get your beats upgraded. Shout out to the Beatminerz. So before we go, I'd like to ask y'all, what are your words of worth? Thank you to the Beatminerz. Peace.
All right.
Peace.
So I gotta shout out Evil D and Mr. Walt, because doing that first single that kind of launched me to be where I am today. So shout out to the Beatminerz producing my very first single, On Your Feet. Peace. Sign up now at elevate.miami.edu for my course, Organized Rhyme. Looking at the word legacy, while involving some wordplay, I'll use the first syllable to build upon. We'll use the first syllable, leg. For the second syllable, we'll use an. And for the third syllable, we'll use the word knee. So now we have leg and knee. Can we use it in context with legacy? Let's just see. Wordsworth Productions with a S.com for all merch. I got 2 books available right now. Words Are Worth Volume 1, and I also have a children's book called Socks. Age range from 12 to 15, so it's kind of like the middle school and high school age range, but adults can read it as well. Shout out to our sponsor, the Wizker. If you're into skincare, the Wizker will help prevent razor bumps and make sure you got smooth skin all around. Make sure you order it on Amazon, the Wizker. Make sure you check out Wordsworthproductions.com. There you can book me if you want to book me for shows, consultations, panels, and things of that nature. And also it'll give all the upcoming shows that I'll be attending or performing at or appearing at as well. Wordsworthproductions.com. We write plays, books, movies, anything that deals with writing and creativity. Contact us.